Hello, what have we here?
You're wrong.
Damn! What the hell was that?
Game over, man. Game over.
You're wrong.
You finished?
Well, I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm your huckleberry.
Greetings, boys and girls, lemurs and squirrels. And welcome to the Week in Geek, a wholly owned subsidiary of free-range Idiocy, wherein we, your humble idiotic servants and hosts, present our midweek dose of geekery for you,
the people.
Thank you. Sit back and relax as we scrape the best news we've found off the bottom of the interweb shoe and let you know exactly how we feel about it. I am your Uncle Todd, and with me, as always, is the lead editor-in-chief bottle washer of the Week in Geek. I give you the man they call Tim.
Well!
Give this man a couple Triscuits, and all of a sudden now he's like wide awake.
Greetings and salutations, my friend. How are you?
I was doing all right until you blasted out my eardrum, made me boo myself a little.
You got to do the Road Warrior Hawk, greeting there.
Well,
oh my. Yeah, sorry. It's probably been funny to watch me drink about 3 different liquids here, but I'm trying to get my
no judgment here. No
vocal
judgment.
cords, my mouthful region, all kind of rinsed out here with
Your mouthful region. So you were that person posting on Craigslist, back.
Stop it! Oh my gosh. I was eating Triscuits and I was trying to not have my throat get dry while
So you're
talking
trying to rehydrate from eating your wicker swing set.
Basically, yes. Oh,
Fair enough. I'm doing fine. How about you?
I'm doing well. Can't
Good.
complain.
We're both lying our ass off. Sweet goodness.
Although I got to tell you, and maybe I'm kind of jumping into the weekly update here a little bit, but I did miss. I did what? What? You okay?
Oh, it's not a Kentucky hug because it's bourbon it's whiskey from Vermont. But that first just warmth. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Anyways, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
What are you drinking? Because it's actually apropos to what I'm about to share.
I am drinking Whistle Pig Piggyback 6-year rye.
Nice, very nice.
It's become a go-to for me as of late.
Yes, with some inspiration from me, I suppose, since I was just recently there.
Well, yes, but also years and years ago now, I subscribed to, and I won't even bother mentioning their name because it is such a scam. But one of those companies that is like, ooh, you can subscribe to our service,
Yeah,
for X number of dollars per month, and you have access to all of these different spirits. And I was like, ooh, this would be great. I'll find all kinds of cool stuff that I can't find anywhere else. I signed up, and the whole gimmick is they give you a free bottle to start with. Well, first of all, it's not like it's a fifth. It's a pint. And I got a pint of, I don't think I got the rye. I think I got the Whistle Pig 10-year, just straight bourbon, which was fan-friggin-tastic. But then, of course, you then get access to everything, and I quickly realized, I'm like, these prices are actually not any cheaper than what I can go down to my local package store and buy. In fact, some of them are higher, and there's not really anything that's hard to find on here that I could not find with a drive, into Portland, Maine, a whole 20 minutes down the road. So what the hell am I paying this money for?
yeah.
Because they don't show you what you're getting, until you subscribe. And then you subscribe and you're like, oh, good, I can buy Bacardi and, Jack Daniels. Wow, couldn't find that anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, 50% of the stuff I saw on the website, I'm like, I can buy, not only can I buy that going to the liquor store, here in Maine, you can buy spirits at the grocery store.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can find 50% of this at the grocery store.
Yep.
That I can almost see from my house. Looking out the window here, minus a couple of trees, I could see the friggin' store. So, yeah, it was a scam. But anyways, that was where I first heard of Whistle Pig, but you going there definitely has inspired me even further.
And to go with this, yes. I did not this weekend go to something that is legit, where I could have built up my whiskey collection behind me, because quite honestly, right now I have enough as it is.
No. You got
Whiskey
some space
Fest.
there.
Whiskey Fest was this weekend, and I missed it. because I didn't know, and 2, we had our nephew over yesterday, and we're having our own, our family time with him.
You should have brought him with you. What?
Don't make me have his mother on to chastise you.
What? How old is the lad?
10?
Yeah, far be
Yeah,
it
don't
from me
hurt
to-
yourself.
He's a
He's
young lad in need of an education, and you need to help with that.
Yeah, an education, watching a bunch of adults stumble over each other after having, 10 samples. So.
Well, it's a cautionary tale. And then you can say, hey, you see that guy over there that passed out? Go bring your Uncle Tim his sample.
Go snag that bottle out of his basket.
Yeah.
He won't notice.
It turns into Oliver Twist all of a sudden. Anyways.
Yeah, but yes, so this time around I missed it. But, like I said, honestly, I got bottles behind me here that I picked up at the last one that I have yet to open. I am taking care of, and I'm sure at Christmas I'm going to be receiving more. Even though I mentioned that my collection is quite full right now, I will most likely still get some. So,
Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.
Indeed. But how are you, sir? Any interesting happenings over the course of the week?
No, just real busy. All the fun stuff. We are picking up our daughter from college this coming Thursday, though. So I've just realized as we were talking about all of this that I have once again put my back to a door. And actually, it's not this one. That's a closet.
I see. This
one is the entryway for this room. So once again, we have the possibility of Kaylin sneaking up on me during recording.
Does this mean a return of Kaylin's Comedy Corner at some point?
It might. It might. It depends on how her grades are. If not, that might be your punishment. Actually, her punishment, if she didn't get good grades, is she's going to have to host a show. That's going to be a punishment.
Might be Kaylin's corrective corner.
Welcome to the penitentiary hour. Just getting yard time.
Actually, no, it's going to be Kaylin's hard times.
Dude, did you see that Instagram I sent you?
You have been flooding
DJ?
me with stuff, and I need to go watch it. So no, I have not.
So like the DJ, it's like a DJ set where they work in wrestling themes.
Oh,
and they put on American Dream.
Oh,
people lost their mind.
Oh my gosh,
and rightfully so.
Yeah.
Give me a couple tots, of whiskey and a little dance music, and then all of a sudden you throw in Dusty Rhodes' theme song
with the cowbell.
Oh yeah, I am.
He's just a common man. Yeah, I mean, come on, you got to get into it. There you go.
Yeah,
wonderful.
Wonderful. Yeah. Anyways, you'll enjoy that one when you get to it.
Nice.
All right, so where are we taking this suckers here, sir?
Oh, come on, my friend. Where if this is it for. Oh, actually, one more weekly update from me. I did. Both of our kids were home this week. We had a wonderful visit with them.
Very nice.
Got to watch some Christmas movies as part of it, and just have a nice visit with the adult kiddos, and our youngest is home now. A little prematurely. The exams, final exams, I guess, are virtual for him, so he's just going to be home with us. But good to have him home and
get that home cooking.
That's right. And
we're in home laundry.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah. Overall, good stuff. Good stuff at home. Nothing too crazy. Oh, we did get 4 inches of snow here in Chicago.
Great. That means that's coming to us very soon.
It is. So had to dig myself out this morning as we were getting ready to take our eldest back into the city. But I got to tell you, my friend, kudos to the Illinois Department of Transportation. Those highways were clean as a whistle when we got onto them. I mean, there was not a speck of snow on those highways. It was clean as clean can be, and it was smooth sailing into the city. Coming back out, good old traffic. Good old big city traffic.
Should have caught an Uber.
Yeah, I would have got the what was it? The Hyundai Elantra? Is that
no! It's always a Prius.
Oh,
it's
Prius.
Always
Prius,
a Prius.
That's right. Always a Prius.
Always a Prius. I'm telling you,
way,
if I'm out there and we get an Uber and I see a Prius, I'm like, no, keep on going, keep on.
So I thought of you.
I'm
on
waiting for an
Thursday.
SUV. Anything else?
All right, we'll move on to our next segment in just a moment.
I'll take a Honda Accord with 3 wheels. I'll just go.
Thursday, I go to wait for. We have a shuttle, a bus that picks us up at the office and will take us to Ogilvy Transportation Center and Union Station, which are the two main train stations that go out to the suburbs. And I get out there, and I'm trying to catch what would be the last train before you have to wait almost a full hour for the next one. And I'm waiting for the shuttle. It's supposed to show up at 5:30. Doesn't show up. I wait till 5:40. Still not there. 5:45. Boom. I hit Uber. I'm like, all right, I got to get an Uber because I got to get there to get on this train for the departure time. And so,
So what is the departure time? I'm just curious.
It's a little bit after 6 o'clock. So it's not quite 6 o'clock, but it's a little bit after. So I got some wiggle room there.
That's
so
pretty snug. Pretty snug.
It was, but the car was close by. But when I saw the type of car that came up, a Toyota Prius, I'm like, there it is.
I might not live, but I will definitely make the train if I do.
And by the way, the guy did drive like he had no fear. He had Cero Miedo, baby.
There is nobody on this planet with less fear than an Uber driver in a Prius. I swear to God, I don't know what it is. I don't understand why. Those dudes just feel like they're driving an armored tank that is blessed by whatever God they worship. I do not get it.
Here was the strange part, though. I get out of the Uber at Ogilvy, and there's a guy standing like right here as I'm getting out. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I thought maybe he booked the car or something like that. So I exit, and I leave the door open. But then the guy leans in, and he's like propositioning the driver to take him somewhere for $10 or something like that. And I'm like, should I be closing the door? Like did I just screw up like security privacy wise or something? But anyways, I walked off. The guy ended up shutting the door. He didn't get the ride.
The man they call Tim is down to 2 stars as an Uber rider.
I didn't mean to. It's just he was like literally right there. I couldn't. If I shut the door, I would have like snagged his arm or something. So
you were already down to a 4 from the last fart you let out after a barbecue lunch.
Well, fair enough.
It fogged the windows.
But speaking of farts, Tales from the Fantasy Gridiron Week 14. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to do a self-assessment, Uncle Todd and I, as we look at how our teams are performing over the course of this week.
You go right ahead. You let me know how you're doing first.
We are, and by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we are down to T-minus. There is this week, this current week, and next week. And we are, and that will wrap up this season.
You son of a bitch! Oh,
what?
No, I'm not talking to you.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if I did something.
We'll get to it.
Okay,
you
so
first.
you want me to go first? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So right now, my team, best in the world, is down 172 to 183. I'm playing the second place team. I'm currently in 8th place. Originally projected to lose 208 to 182, so a prison pounding was basically projected, and I'm keeping it close and have a potential window for victory. We will see, but overall,
so your kicker, you're relying on your kicker to
I am relying on Cameron,
score 12
the
points
kicker
here.
dicker, ladies and gentlemen. You know it. He has put up 12. He has put up more than 10 before.
Ooh.
And I am holding on tight to that hope.
How'd you not start Burrow, dude?
What's that?
Didn't Burrow have a good week last week for you?
No, he did not. Jeff Goff, I think Burrow outperformed Goff only by a couple of points, but it wasn't anything substantial.
Would have helped you here.
Well, possibly. Although I did get to see part of that game when I had brunch this afternoon with my wife and an eldest, and man, the snow was like I honestly thought both Allen and Burrow were going to be like really impacted by the weather at that game. It was snowing like crazy. They were they kept the field as cleared off as they could, but it was rough. But both of them were making passes, and the teams were pushing the ball forward. I think the Bills ended up winning 39-34. But my team, Jeff Goff, leading the way for Detroit with 43 fantasy points. He had 1 passing touchdown. and 309 passing yards, 25 completions, 2 rushing attempts for -2 rushing yards. Got to celebrate that. Devontae Adams, this one kills me. This guy has been putting up double digits consistently, and you look at the score, 45-17. The Rams won, but he only put up 6 fantasy points, 4 receptions for 29 yards. I don't know what happened there. Maybe they were playing tight defense. Khalil Shakir, he was riding a big fat 0 for most of this game, and then finally Allen hit him in the end zone for a touchdown. So he got me 9 points. Overall, I'm doing better than my opponent in the wide receiver category. Basically, all 3 of my wide receivers. Actually, I'm sorry, one of them. Well, no, depending on how you pair them up, I think overall my wide receivers did better than my opponent. My running backs were another story. They did better, but I got to tell you, it was like 3 quarters in because it was Derrick Henry on Baltimore playing Pittsburgh, and what is his name? Jalen Warren of Pittsburgh playing Baltimore. And both of them were in single-digit fantasy points for at least 3 quarters. Like, they were sitting at like 6 and 4 points. It was incredible. I'm like, what the heck is going on in this game? And then all of a sudden, it was like middle of the 3rd, going into the 4th. Then they started lightening up, and so they ended up with 35. So Henry had 35 points, Warren 22. T. Higgins from the Bengals was a favorite target of Mr. Burrow and put up 27, 6 receptions, 92 yards for 2 receiving TDs. And my Baltimore defense posted up a respectable 13 points, 1 less than my opponent, though, so that was an area where I was in the deficit. But overall, across the board, I was doing better than my opponent. The only area that I was in a deficit right now is defense, and by a large margin, quarterback, because Jared Allen had 68 fantasy points.
Josh Allen?
Oh, Josh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Jared. So all that's left for me, as we just said, is Cameron the Kicker Dicker tomorrow night versus Philly. I'm really, really hoping for that 12-point performance, because that'll put me up 184, 183. Give me a win, vault me into 6th place, ready for the playoffs. And then next week, ladies and gentlemen, it's not the last time is now that you should be looking forward to. It's Idiot Bowl 2, ladies and gentlemen. Best in the world versus the Doom to close out the regular season. We will see who is the man overall. Well, what is your situation, sir?
I don't know what the hell is going on. So I'm leading right now, 172 to 143. The original projection was for a 182 tie. And now we are currently projected for me to lose by 2 points, 204 to 206.
As the fantasy gods would have it.
Yeah, and so, pretty good day here for me, except for one thing, which I will bring up. But I was going back between. Drake May has been kind of the ride or die for me in quarterback for quite a while now. Of course, they're on a bye, so I had to figure out what I was going to do there. So I actually picked up. Who did I pick up? Oh no! So I have Lamar Jackson sitting on the bench. So I was looking at that, and then I looked at the last few games that old Lamar has had, and they ain't good. So I picked up Trevor Lawrence as an insurance policy in case I wanted to at the last second trade there. I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't, because Lamar Jackson returned to form with 47 points, got himself 219 passing yards, 1 passing TD. Of course, he had to have an interception to go along with that. He also had a rushing TD, so that all helped. My recent pickup from Arizona, Michael Wilson, paying some dividends, going off at 37 points from the wide receiver spot. 11 receptions, 142 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. That was nice. Good old Debo let me down with only 6 points, and which killed me because Rashid Shaheed, who has just been a total wastoid on my roster, he decided to go for 16 points this week. That would have been awfully helpful.
Of course he did.
I picked up the law firm of Jacoby and Myers off the waiver wires because all of my wide receivers were either hurt or on buys. He got me 16 points, so I'm pretty happy there. Kyron Williams, he came in under what he was projected for, 30 points instead of 31. But after the last few weeks of some of these dudes being in the 20s, I'll take 30. My man, Tyler Warren, kind of disappointing here. 4 points from the wide receiver, from the tight end spot. He's been fairly consistent, but oh well. Got 10 points from the kicker, 22 points from Jacksonville's defense, so I'm pretty happy there. So right now I've got Saquon Barkley going tomorrow night, and my opponent has C.J. Stroud going tonight, as well as Jay Higgins going tonight, and then who's this? Devonta Smith in Philly going tomorrow night. So by the time we're done recording this evening, I will probably have a fairly good idea of where my fate is at. So yeah, as far as my bench, yeah, Lawrence only got me 39 points. Would have had 39 points. Bam Knight had 12. Don't know what Kareem Hunt would have done. Yeah, Rashid Shaheed is just pissing me off in immeasurably, because I could have used those extra 10 points. But oh well, such is life.
I love your kicker from Baltimore, T. Loop, otherwise known as the Loop.
Yeah. So let's see here. You're trying to vault into 6th place. Is that what I hear?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, because I'm in 9th place right now, and if I were to win, yeah, there's a glut of teams here. So actually, I would then tie the guy I'm playing today. Where's Orchids of Asia? Are they losing? They're projected to lose.
Yep.
So that would then create a 3-way tie.
Yeah.
And if you lost, then that actually drops. Oh, no, that would make it a 4-way tie for 6th place, which would then make next week very interesting. It's like the end of every Ted Lasso series. Oh, well.
So I got to see if Uncle Todd wants to take a dive next week for me.
No, that's not going to happen. Anyways, what are we on to next year, sir?
I'll send you the belt. Anyways.
No, you won't.
All right, that's our Tales from the Fantasy
Send me
Gridiron.
a stale box of Triscuits.
Week 14. Hey, these are phenomenal.
That's why you're going to send me the stale ones.
Well, fair enough. All right. Getting into the minutia, the stuff that makes the interwebs what it is. Coming from our friends at BGR by way of Yahoo Entertainment.
What the heck does BGR stand for?
All right, you're going to ask for it. Better, great returns. I don't know. I'm just making it up. It just says BGR. I don't know.
All right. I'll allow it.
Let me see. I'm going there. I still don't know. It seems to be a technical. Actually, it's kind of a techie sort of website. So that's what it is. Anyways, the article in question: Christian Bale's one condition to play Batman again for The Dark Knight 4 makes total sense.
Wait a minute. The Dark Knight 4?
Yes. So this is
a thing.
Well, not really. This is more. Well, this article written by Cy, and this is the last name, VSR, Vizur. Sir, ruling? Is this a real or jabroni?
Actually, no, that one was farmed out. That one was farmed out.
Oh,
but I mean, The Dark Knight 4 is about as real as anything going on with DC right now, so whatever.
Yeah. No, so the question apparently had been posed, and Christian Bale was speaking to, let me see, I don't know who he was speaking to. He explained to Screen Rant, our good friends at ScreenRant.com, that I had a pact with Chris Nolan.
So wait, BGR is now drafting off of Screen Rant? How does this work out for your affiliate links? Like, do you get a quarter of a cent now?
There's percentages all the way around, so you know. Hey, at the end of the day, I get paid.
Less than most people get paid for Spotify, but you know, you get paid, I guess.
It might be a tuppence, but that's about all I get.
Anyways, where are we at with this?
So Christian Bale explained as he gets questions every now and then about would he do another Dark Knight movie. He basically explained to Screen Rant, I had a pact with Chris Nolan. We said, look, let's make 3 films if we're lucky enough to get to do that, and then let's walk away. Let's not linger too long, which is basically what they've done. And so while most studios, of course, would love to keep the door open for another movie in that vein, Mr. Bale's only condition is that as long as Christopher Nolan is part of it, he would be open to it. But otherwise, he has zero interest. And so I thought that was kind of an interesting idea of, if we were to, and quite honestly, I don't know that we really need it. I mean, the Dark Knight trilogy is probably one of the most, complete story arcs that we have from the comic era. Really kind of set the table for what we ended up getting from Marvel in some ways, with telling grounded stories and making these heroes have some depth and some, just to have a story behind them. And with the Dark Knight trilogy, 3 films, it was one contained world. It was a clear ending for Bruce Wayne. This version of Batman was Nolan's vision, and if it came back, so does Bale. But if not, he's good where things ended. And so that was his answer, basically. So there really isn't right now on the way, in the way of an actual movie being done. There is nothing in the works at the moment. There are no current plans for a 4th movie, but if Christopher Nolan was at the helm, Christian Bale would be willing to consider it. So thoughts on this, sir, where it seems like Christian Bale is drawing a very firm line with the Dark Knight, and if they were to try to do a 4th movie with some other director, or just if the studio wanted to throw it out there, a la the Matrix, right? Matrix did a 4th movie, although it was with the Wachowskis, so I shouldn't say that. But thoughts on that, sir?
Wow, they really wrung the rind really really hard to try and get something out of this. I guess it would make sense, because just seeing how Warner Brothers and DC have conducted themselves over the past few years, the only way, if I were Christian Bale, that I would come back is if Nolan was involved. Because you look what they've done with Michael Keaton, and basically, they kind of threw him into the Flash. He was the best thing in the Flash, honestly. And then they just submarined an entire movie that he was apparently had a fairly prominent role in, and with Batgirl. Like, why would you want to wade back into that, where it's a 50-50 thing, where your movie might actually just never come out? It makes total sense. But the other thing is, like, there's almost a 0% chance that Nolan would come back. I don't think that Nolan would be very interested in where this is right now, and what is that fourth movie? You know what I mean? Like Bale has said, like, this was a self-contained world, and you kind of told a story over this arc, and now what? Like, maybe there's an interesting epilogue, but I don't see it. That ship has sailed. And I think back in the day, like, DC made its hugest mistake by not backing up a dump truck full of cash to Nolan's door and saying, what do we have to do to get you to continue working with us?
Mm-hmm.
Because those movies were uber successful. It's not like they scrimped by at the box office. They made tons of money, and they were, they weren't all critically acclaimed, or, not everything's going to be a fan favorite, but I mean, those movies were really good.
Yeah.
Those movies are actually way better than most everything else DC has done since.
Mm-hmm.
And they totally missed the boat there then by saying, like, oh, and it's not going to connect to this at all. Yes, because again, we are allergic to success. Please, someone paint a target on my foot so that I can make sure I shoot it.
Yeah.
I never understood that. Not connecting to one of the most successful things that has happened in time for you, and you're just like, nah. So it's not going to happen either way, because there's no way Nolan's going back to whatever fracas is going on over there.
Yeah.
And I was trying to give James Gunn a shot, but after watching Superman and just kind of the way they conducted business during that transition, it's like, nope. It's basically just complete friggin', I don't know, meth-addled crack house toy factory or whatever they're doing over there. It's crazy. So this ain't happening.
Yeah.
So I think that's Bale's way of basically saying, like, yes, if the impossible happens, sure, but otherwise, hell no.
Right. Well, and what's unique about his position is, in this day and age, most most characters are built to come back again and again. Last week in Geek, we talked about the idea of how Robert Downey Jr. is teasing, for example, Iron Man and Doctor Doom, and that there might be a return, maybe in the offing there between Doomsday and Secret Wars. But what's unique about Bale's position here is, he's like the article says, endings get rewritten, timelines bend, nothing ever stays closed for long. But Bale is outside of that loop. He's not waiting for a multiverse crossover or a secret cameo. His version ended cleanly, and he is comfortable leaving it there. And that to me is interesting. Like a lot of times it seems like, and I don't know if I should blame the studios or who for this, but it does seem like they can't leave well enough alone. They have something great and something good, and oftentimes I think they bring things back because there's nostalgia. There's clearly a machine for getting those dollars to get people into the theaters to pay to see the return of so and so, and he kind of exists outside of that. And quite honestly, I mean, like you said, those movies are so far and above what passes as a comic book movie today. The article points out that like the Dark Knight, the second movie, is Nolan's masterpiece. Like that is probably that is just a great movie.
Yeah.
Like not even a comic book movie. That is
I don't know if
great
I'd say it's
movie.
Nolan's masterpiece. I would put Interstellar up there before I'd probably go
Okay.
with Dark Knight, but that's also personal preference.
Yeah.
I can make a compelling case for Dark Knight as well. So
Yep.
I just think it's also I mean, the thing I forgot about this, and you brought it up by bringing up Marvel, but I mean, we forget Christian Bale was in a Marvel movie with a director. I mean, Taika Waititi is not looked upon as a slouch or a hack. I mean, you could probably maybe say he's an acquired taste as a director.
Yeah.
But that dude's won awards. He's fairly highly regarded. He's made a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And Bale was in one of his movies and was probably way underused. Like they kind of wasted Christian Bale in that role. Like he did not get the Cate Blanchett Hera treatment, I felt.
Yeah.
He definitely got underused in that. So at that point, it's like, yeah, I'll come back if Christopher Nolan does, which means never. So I don't have to answer this question anymore. Haha.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, didn't mean to interrupt, but that
No.
and
And the other part in this article that I agree with and found interesting too is that Bale's entire career has been built on roles that ask for everything he has. So stepping back into the Batman game would pull him into this machine that he has clearly moved on from. So he's already been through the process already. So, he probably knows how draining it is. And that's why, regardless of the ways comic book film roles have changed, his line about only returning if Nolan brought him something real makes a lot of sense. That he's only willing to go back to it if there's really something compelling there that Nolan's going to head up. And as of right now, I mean, I honestly, as a fan of that trilogy, like as much as you wish that you could see something else from that group of people, you also have to remember too, like they're all getting older, like Christian Bale being the physical Batman that we saw, like, he's getting older, he can't do roles like that or, perform in the way that he did when he did Batman Begins. And so,
well, the only way it works is if you make it like because there have been storylines of basically old Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, that's true.
And the thing that he has going for him that I'll contrast this to Hugh Jackman going back to Wolverine. Batman ages. Batman doesn't have superpowers per se.
Yeah.
Batman's superpower was best said by Ben Affleck. He's rich. And extremely driven. But still rich.
Mm-hmm.
For Hugh Jackman, like getting into the machine for Hugh Jackman is like you have to get into Wolverine shape, at least vaguely, because there's a lot of physicality, and until Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine, we ain't never seen him with the mask. You put Christian Bale into the Batman suit again, you can put a stunt double in there in a heartbeat, and who's going to know?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And if it's old Bruce Wayne, you're going to be expecting a lot less from Batman physically. So he would have that going for him. Like, I doubt they're going to be doing a whole lot of like, okay, well, Batman gratuitously takes off his shirt here, because again, that's not Nolan's style anyways. So, I mean, it's there is a path, but then again, you're also looking at like there's a lot to figure out. Like you're going to have to write Alfred out. I mean, Michael Caine, I think he just made a recent appearance. Dude's in a wheelchair. I think Michael Caine is pretty much done acting at this point. And so he was a huge part of those movies. Like Michael Caine's Alfred was one of the great parts about the Nolan trilogy. His interplay back and forth with Christian Bale was fan-friggin-tastic. So to not have that, you're missing another element. And, I don't know, it's a lot there that you'd have to figure out. But I mean, I'd be willing to listen, same as I was willing to listen to Matrix 4. Like I was sort of like, this might not be really great. And it wasn't great. It wasn't, I don't think it was as terrible as everybody thought it was, but it wasn't great. Certainly wasn't the first movie. Yeah. But there is still a bit of me that's like, man, it would be kind of cool to see what could happen. But man, there's your probability after this many years is much more Matrix-like, where your chances of blowing it are much better than your chances of nailing it. Yeah. I don't know that no one is going to touch that, because I don't know that no one cares that much about money, because it would have to be like, here is approximately all the money.
Yep. And he told a story, and he told a story that had a very clean ending to it, and you just need to now let it be, and it is what it is, and that trilogy, played its role for that period of time in our culture, and it's always something, and it's something we'll talk about in our next episode about things that we enjoy for comfort.
Way to go with a teaser.
Little teaser right there, little teaser. We're moving right along from Christian Bale not doing Dark Knight 4, as nicely as that would have sounded. Yeah. This one I thought was, this was just more for just a goof. From our friends at, let's see, let me just open this link up here. This is again a Yahoo Entertainment special. This is from Total Film. Is this part of my portfolio?
Not just the tip of film. It's the total film.
It's the total film. Robert Downey Jr. says Gwyneth Paltrow is forever confused by the basic tenets of the Marvel Universe, and that she once forgot who Tom Holland is. So this article is basically calling out a moment in time. So apparently at the Hollywood Reporter's 2025 Women in Entertainment Breakfast Gala, Downey Jr. said his co-star Gwyneth Paltrow is impossibly intelligent, but forever confused by the basic tenets of the Marvel Universe and its inhabitants. And then it goes on, and who's that? Downey Jr. Said Paltrow once questioned, and she said, his name is Peter. And he replied, no, his character's name is Peter. That's Tom Holland. You did 4 movies with him. Which I read this and I'm like, all right, it could happen. You forget and you cross the streams, so to speak. It's like, his name's Peter. It's no, it's Tom, and you did all these movies with him.
Yeah, I mean, hey, and the fact is, like, she's.
And he was joking, of course, by the way.
Well, of course, but it's tough. I mean, Gwenyth has her business where she's selling like candles that are shaped like her vajayjay or whatever. I don't know, that friggin' company that she has.
What?
It's weird stuff, man.
Oh my God.
But what there was a part where she did say something like this, and part of it is because it's not like Gwyneth Paltrow is throughout a lot of these movies, and when they do some of these things, they'll have them shoot like several scenes. Mm-hmm. And it could be placed into any movies. And in a lot of cases, like, you're shooting things and you have no idea what they actually go into, because there's also like, there's non-disclosures, and we got to keep all the secrets, because as we know, Tom Holland has gotten himself into hot water before for spilling the beans, to the point where I think they're like, we're just going to duct tape your mouth shut. Just go out there and look good. Can you do that?
Here's your lines. You have no context.
Yeah. But I mean, some of it is that, like, so like some of those scenes, like where she shot the scene with him at the end of one of the movies, like, she probably didn't know where that was going. She's just like, okay, so this is happening, go, Yeah. So I get that. It is kind of funny though in practice when you think about that. Like, technically, our IMDb's have crossed that much, but we might never have been on set together, or only briefly passed, like ships in the night,
Yeah.
but technically, like, you should know who they are, and you just don't. But hey, I don't think Gwenyth and Tom are hanging out too much. They seem to be in two very distinct age groups. It'd be like, if someone asks us, like, hey, aren't you hanging out with those 20-year-olds? Hell no. Are you kidding? I was annoying as hell back then. Why do I want to hang out with them? Let me go hang out with the people who want to get to bed at a reasonable hour.
Nice. Well, a little RDJ having, RDJ having a little fun at Gwyneth Paltrow's expense. It happens.
It's good, clean fun. You know what I mean?
It is. This one we might spend a little bit of time on. This comes from our friends at The Direct.
Ooh.
And this one is basically the article starts off discussing how Lucasfilm has canceled one highly anticipated Star Wars movie, but then goes on to cycle through a sequence of movies that have been canceled. And I wanted to chat about some of those. And mostly, and this, to me, this really isn't news because I thought this was the case, and this is maybe just confirmation in as much, but during an interview, director Rian Johnson confirmed that he is not actively working on his Star Wars trilogy anymore, but instead he is still, but he insisted he is still tight with Lucasfilm and would be open to returning. And it sounds like, Lucasfilm has canceled that trilogy. So I don't know if that was a surprise to you, sir, or if you were already aware that was going to be the case.
Honestly, I did, and I think we can finally put this one to rest. Actually, one bit of business that continues on this show, I believe it is Rian Johnson, because I believe
this man's endless desire to get perfected pronunciation is unequaled or unmatched.
Look at my last name. You think I have a little bit of a twinge about this, like getting names right?
Regular baloney? What?
Exactly. Yeah. So
well deserved.
What's his face? Oh, Daniel Craig had mentioned his name, and he said it was Ryan. So I'm just gonna say it's Rian Johnson.
Fine, Rian Johnson. Now back to the question, sir.
Well, so here's the thing, like, it's not so much that I'm shocked that he's not actively working on it. I thought this had already been kind of like settled. Like, I didn't think that was even a possibility anymore. I was like, wasn't this really like? I swear I remember a press release on this, like that this was dead and buried a while ago. But apparently not. Apparently, Ryan was still tinkering away with this, as he's been making Knives Out movies every other week. Mm-hmm. This was still a possibility, and now we're just getting to the point where they're like, "Oh yeah, but that thing, yeah, no, we're not doing that thing anymore." Like, oh gee, shucks, I'm shocked after almost a decade that this is not a thing. I think it's a shame, but it's also not unexpected.
Yeah,
it was more unexpected to think that this was still a possibility.
Yeah,
at least for me.
A couple of other interesting tidbits here that apparently. In this article, apparently Star Wars' next big screen trilogy is reportedly already filming. So Sean Levy's Starfighter will reportedly have a big cameo to set up its sequels, which could involve Daisy Ridley's Rey. Is one rumor. So apparently Starfighter is not going to be a standalone movie, but potentially the start of another trilogy. And then it's, again, according to The Direct, Lucasfilm is reportedly also eager to expand next year's Mandalorian and Grogu into a trilogy, continuing the events of its Disney Plus predecessor. Now, this is the first I'm hearing about this. My impression was Mando and Grogu was going to be standalone, and that all of this was going to feed into some either a single movie or a duology that would represent what's his name? Not Jon Favreau, Filoni, Dave Filoni's vision of taking the Thrawn books and turning them into, either a singular movie or a set of two, which will take the stories from the books and bring them to the big screen.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. And that in essence would be like Star Wars's version of Marvel's Avengers Endgame, because it would bring in all the heroes. It'd bring in Mando and Grogu. It would bring in Zeb. It would bring in all the folks from Ahsoka. I mean, it would just get everyone pulled in.
I love how you pick Zeb out of the Rebels cast. Like, oh yeah, and Zeb, like,
well, because
the B-level character.
We've
But
only
no, but I
seen
mean,
him once.
We're doing. You have Hera. You have what's his face?
Well, she didn't come to mind.
The Jedi Light, but the midget Jedi, who showed up in Ahsoka.
I'm not helping you on this one.
I can't remember. Anyways, but I mean, there's like you've got the.
It's not so easy to name things, is it? I picked Zeb out because that's what happened to be top of mind. It could have been
I
Hera.
hope you have a hemorrhoid that's swollen and sideways. That's what I hope.
Always with the bathroom humor with you. Good Lord.
Well, you go with the one that you dance with the one that brung you. So, but anyways, like that's what you pick out of there. I just find that amusing.
Well, okay. All right, fine. Well, the main question I had for you, boy, you're
Yes.
off on tangents left, right, and center here. It's
Again, surprising.
Starfighter being a trilogy and Mando and Grogu being a trilogy. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Lucasfilm needs to stop with the trilogies. Everything does not need to be a trilogy. Just make one damn good movie first.
Yeah.
And then maybe hold out the option that it could become more movies. But focus on making one good movie first. How
Agreed.
about that? Instead of putting this pressure on, like, oh, it has to be this. Like, just make one flippin' good movie and tell an interesting story that maybe people will want to see continue on. You can have that planned out and all this, but as far as like announcing things as a trilogy and all this, like, I'm so sick of that because as this article has already stated, they've canceled about 5 trilogies in the past 8 years. So the shine is kind of off. Just make something good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all it has to be.
Yep.
That's really it.
Amen. Preach it, brother. Preach it. That's all we need. All you need is love and some continuity.
And, a decent story.
And a decent story, indeed. Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And, but I'm sure that's also kind of the push-pull of what happens with the planning of these things, right? It's like you want to put something out there, and I think you're right on. Put something out there, high quality, good story, fun, that will start kind of a new thread in the Star Wars universe that people can get excited about. However, it's also hard to know, like, like if that movie becomes a hit, are you prepared to tell another chapter, or like do you have a plan for the next 2, or are you kind of flying by the seat of your pants? You know what I mean?
Well,
like
I totally can.
I don't think it's a bad thing to have a plan for a trilogy.
Absolutely.
But I think you have to, like we were talking about Dark Knight earlier, like Batman Begins did not need the Dark Knight. Batman Begins is a good standalone movie.
Yep.
It is the origin story of Batman. It gets him going. They do tease the Joker at the end, but it's not a requirement to have a second movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the approach that you're talking about that they need to take. Like, make something good that's standalone, and if it resonates, and if fans want to see more, and if there's an appetite to expand upon that story with other characters, then just make sure you have a plan of how you might do that. And it seemed like Nolan had that. I think it's possible to have that, but you can't make the bet on, all right, well, here's going to be this trilogy of Starfighter movies, because you have no idea if the first one's going to resonate or not. And then you're going to have 2 movies that no one's going to go want to see in movies 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I hear you.
I think part of it comes down to me just the logistics of the announcement.
Yeah.
Just like stop announcing this crap.
Yeah.
Just stop doing it. Like, stop announcing. Like, everything doesn't have to be its own universe. Everything doesn't have to be this and that and the other, and announce this grand plan. I mean, like,
do you have money on the soundboard?
Somewhere here. I'm in a different,
Because that's what it comes down to, baby. It comes down to
Money, money.
there it
but
is.
It's like Lucas didn't announce. He had the plan for a trilogy. He didn't announce
Yes.
with the original one. Then for the second one, that's where it all kind of went to hell. And the prequel trilogy, he announced already it was going to be a trilogy.
Yep.
And that's where this whole thing is, and especially Star Wars, is so fracking zoned in on trilogies.
Yep.
It becomes annoying. Just give me a good movie at this point, because you haven't, not in a while. And I'm not just talking about since the Rise of Skywalker. I'm talking about the last good movie, which is Last Jedi. So just focus on making a good movie. You can have all the plans you want. You just don't have to announce them.
Yeah.
You don't have I get that we need to fill D23 and Hall H and all whatever. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But man, just stop with all of the things oh yeah, we're going to get the fans excited. You know what the fans will be excited about? A good movie. That's what'll be more exciting than anything. All this other stuff is just fluff that is going to be forgotten.
Yeah.
If the movie sucks.
Yep.
Just focus on that and stop with all the announcements. Take all the time you're going to put into all these announcements and actually, put a little man hours towards editing and writing and, trying to rein in ideas and have things make sense. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Start there, just
Yep.
basic stuff.
Agreed. All right, let's walk through some of these canceled movies that, and I want to get Uncle Todd's reaction. The first one, all right, don't read it yourself. I want to read it to you because I want to get your reaction to this. The reasoning is hysterical. This first movie, ladies and gentlemen, The Hunt for Ben Solo. Hot off the press,
The much-awaited sequel to The Hunt for Red October.
Indeed. Kylo Ren actor Adam Driver was going to team up with Ocean's 11 director Steven Soderbergh.
That's fascinating.
For The Hunt for Ben Solo. The Episode 9 sequel even had a complete script from Scott Z. Burns that was unfortunately shut down by Disney bosses Bob Iger and Alan Bergman. All right, here's the kicker, and get ready to screenshot Uncle Todd's face. Supposedly, Disney was confused about how Ben Solo was alive after he died in The Rise of Skywalker, leading to the Lucasfilm greenlit flick being shut down. Is that not the first thing you should question at the pitch level? Forget a script being written, but isn't the first question when someone pitches Hunt for Ben Solo, didn't he die at the end of the movie? Good God.
Well, that would be confusing if it hadn't been just coming on the heels of a movie where the entire thing centered around the main character somehow coming back to life after being hucked down into the reactor
and supposedly vaporized.
So if I'm pitching that and they're like, but isn't he dead? It's wasn't Palpatine dead?
I know.
So, yeah.
So in the immortal, and actually as we do each of these films, I'm going to basically give the LA Knight to The Hunt for Ben Solo. All right, the next one.
Way, I actually, okay, fine. Maybe that could have been an actual redemption for the dump load of dog poo that was, the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Maybe they managed to, be like, oh, it wasn't really him. It was a evil clone of, it was a goody clone of Kylo Ren or whatever. But, probably not. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Our next one, and I remember hearing about this back in the 2010s.
Wait a minute.
There was much ado made about a movie about Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And there was actually a video game. I need to go back into. I still have the book, but there was a book I read called Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, and it talked about. I think it was called Star Wars 2099 or something or 2199. But the video game was meant to be kind of a first step into this idea of doing a deep dive into the Star Wars underworld. Now, most recently, I didn't prepare for this. Star Wars recent video games. There was a video game that came out 2 years ago, Star Wars Outlaws, which basically did that. That was basically a game that was very much centered around the underworld of Star Wars and had threads, and it was panned by a lot of critics. I think fans enjoyed it. It just disappointed on certain levels because the amount of openness of it. It was supposed to be a very open world sort of game, and I think there were limitations to some of that I think pissed off some fans.
Yeah.
But here, this all started, and really through this being canceled, led us to what we ended up getting with The Mandalorian, because that ended up being the actual content that was created around someone like a Boba Fett. Now, eventually we got the Book of Boba Fett, so we did in a way get a Boba Fett show. Mm-hmm. However, I wouldn't say that was probably the apex of Star Wars storytelling, especially, or special effects for that matter, when we consider they somehow brought back the futuristic bikes, or sorry, the futuristic bikes looked very Back to the Future-ish, Back to the Future 2-ish, if you remember those bike scenes. So
yeah, some of it was kind of lame, but at the same time, it was still. Yeah. Anyways, I don't hate that. The thing that gets me about this is the fact you're gonna have Josh Trank, who is the whole mind behind the Fant 4-stick movie. So
Yep.
Maybe this one's just better left dead and buried.
Yes. So years before Simon Kinberg was given the keys to a new Star Wars trilogy, he was writing a movie starring the iconic Boba Fett. Chronicle director Josh Trank was attached to the flick but departed in 2015 with conflicting reports citing his desire to pursue other projects or the troubles with his F4 reboot. And then sadly, Boba Fett fizzled out before Lucasfilm even got The Force Awakens into theaters, making it one of Disney's earliest Star Wars failures. That said, the bounty hunter would eventually get his due in the Disney Plus, The Book of Boba Fett.
See, this is the thing. That feels like, it's one of their earliest failures. Like, how many movies don't get made every year? How many movies that are, because I looked into screenwriting, and there's a whole lot of screenplays out there that get optioned, that get written and pitched, and people were like, yes, we're going to do that.
Yep.
And then they never go anywhere. Like, so many screenwriters out there have made money off of scripts that have not ever gotten made.
Yeah.
Because that's just the way Hollywood works. They hoard a whole bunch of ideas, and then eventually they drop them.
Yep.
One of the reasons why they have to have all that creative accounting is because they are absolutely upside down in some of these areas, just going out there and spending money and then going, yeah, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't look at it as necessarily a failure. Like, they didn't do it. Okay. But it's not like,
that's the process, right? Not everything gets to the screen, and it, it'd be kind of good for more people to understand that if they would talk more openly about it, but they don't.
Yeah.
So to Josh Trank's Boba Fett, we move on to, now this one was interesting, Guillermo del Toro's Jabba the Hutt. The legendary director behind this year's Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro, was planning to explore the rise and fall of Star Wars iconic crime boss Jabba the Hutt with a script from the Dark Knight writer, see, it all relates, David S. Goyer. The Jabba the Hutt Star Wars spinoff was abandoned around 2017 before things truly got moving on the Godfather-inspired flick.
Man.
Dude, this is interesting.
Yes, because
sign me up for this.
Guillermo del Toro is nothing if not all in on his projects. Like, I'm a big fan of his movie Pacific Rim. I think it is one of the best. I'm not going to say it's like a great movie in terms of like great cinema, but in terms of like lovingly crafted and perfect in what it is, which is like an over-the-top mashup of kaiju and mecha and just action and over-the-top characters. It is beautiful.
Yeah.
His Hellboy movies were actually really good. And this dude he's just all in on his stuff. And so Guillermo, like, putting all of his efforts into a Jabba the Hutt movie with the dude who wrote The Dark Knight. Come on. Like, so far right now, this is the one I'm like, I'm actually pissed that we did not get to see this. I want to see this.
Yeah. Do you have LA Knight on the soundboard? Do we get a yeah?
Yes, we do.
All right, because there it is. We're on board for a Jabba the Hutt movie.
Come on.
Especially something that sounds like it was Godfather inspired. Oh my gosh. Jabba the Hutt doing on this, the day of my daughter's wedding.
Yeah. And when slithering up next to him like, yeah.
Hey. All right. This is interesting. Untitled Kevin Feige movie. I like how this is very generic. Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige was gearing up to spread his pop culture wings into the Star Wars galaxy based on a script from Loki and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness writer Michael Waldron. The project never moved forward, perhaps due to Feige's busy schedule running the MCU, although Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy has since insisted nothing ever got developed for the mystery project. So we have no details on what this is other than Feige was going to direct it. That's it.
Again, another one of those things that should have just never have been even talked about in front of people.
Yeah.
Like, and I remember this was a couple years ago because we talked about this in a Week in Geek or during an episode, and I was like, I kind of was like, if I'm remembering right, yeah, it'd be cool if it happens, but isn't this dude kind of busy? Like, he's running an entire universe.
Right.
You know? Like, when's he going to do this? Is he on meth? Like, he only sleeps like an hour and a half per week?
Maybe he's a student of Paul Heyman's. Who knows?
Maybe, but like, this just never, it should have never have been, I can understand if it was a leak from a source and this and that, but if I remember right, like, this was kind of announced.
Yeah.
Like, Lucasfilm, just stop announcing shit. Just, like, shut up. How about that? How about that for a new corporate, memo from in a big old Star Wars font? Shut up. Stop talking about shit. And just put out some movies. Try that for a while.
Amen.
Because it was one of those things where it's like, oh man, wouldn't it be nice if? It's probably never going to happen. But hey, make sure you get a press release out about that. Why?
Yeah.
Like, you could, like, so stupid. Anyways.
And that's all the detail they have. We don't know what it would have involved or anything. So it's just Kevin Feige. The next one is for the Kevin Feige movie, we say, nah. So this next one, you may not know these two names, Benioff and Weiss. This is David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. They were both the showrunners for Game of Thrones. So this is why I figured you wouldn't be familiar with this.
I'm not.
But they were hired to sculpt a new Star Wars trilogy, again, back to the trilogies, about the origins of the Jedi, which has since been revived with a new movie from Logan director James Mangold. Unfortunately, plans were abandoned in 2019 due to scheduling conflicts with their recent Netflix deal and the disappointment surrounding Game of Thrones' final season among the reported reasons for their exit. So at least with this one, even though it's just their names associated with it, this was going to be a trilogy around the origins of the Jedi, which sounds kind of interesting. I would like to explore said thing. But to your point, can we just get a movie first that is compelling to start said trilogy off before we go down the road of said trilogy?
They were just all excited about, about Jedi nudity and
I was going to say,
just a lot of Jedi humping going on. That's what they were really, they got excited about that and then forgot like, oh, we actually have to do these things. Whoops.
Oh my God.
It's a shame.
All right. And then lastly, so for the Benioff and Weiss movie, yeah. And now we get to the final, the untitled J.D. Dillard movie. Now this one, I thought, as I read this, you'll understand why I thought this was super interesting. In 2020, Devotion director J.D. Dillard was set to write a new chapter in the galaxy far, far away, later revealed to be inspired by the 1994 video game TIE Fighter. Now, this is interesting to me because TIE Fighter, along with X-Wing, was it was a flight simulator game, but they did a great job with the missions having kind of a narrative arc across, like you would do a set of missions and that would lead to you switching to another ship and do another set of missions and going to another ship. But everything was kind of interrelated. You know what I mean? Like they did a nice job of, it wasn't just go do this bombing run and then you're back and now you're doing this other mission that has nothing to do with the previous one. There was a through line for all of it. And so the fact they were doing something like this really is intriguing to me. It goes on to say, unfortunately, Dillard told The Wrap in 2022 that his Star Wars trip was no longer a thing and not for a lack of trying. Some have speculated, this is interesting, the project's similarities to Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron, the status of which is unclear, led to its abandonment at Lucasfilm.
Yeah, they really picked the right horse there.
Oh my gosh.
Patty Jenkins' movie was canceled approximately 2 minutes after opening weekend of Wonder Woman 84. And they're like, no.
Oh boy.
After her rollerblading video or whatever about Rogue Squadron.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So to J.D. Dillard, we say, nah. But I would very much like to see a movie based kind of around those video games because there was a very cool kind of thread there. Finally, the article wraps up on the status of upcoming Star Wars movies. And so just a really quick hit on those. Let's see. Simon Kinberg is working on a new trilogy. But despite currently being in early development, it easily could be pushed aside after years being in development hell. Taika Waititi, we've been talking about this for a while, has his own Star Wars movie stuck in development, with Kathleen Kennedy confirming this year that he is still working on the project and they remain eager to make it happen. Rogue Squadron from Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins was once slated as Star Wars' next movie after The Rise of Skywalker. While that project has been on life support for several years, Rogue Squadron is reportedly back in development, with some rumors saying it could be a Disney Plus series. On the flip side, Lando was originally announced as a Disney Plus series, but is reportedly back in development at Lucasfilm for the big screen. Solo's Lando Calrissian actor Donald Glover is writing the script alongside his brother and Atlanta collaborator Stephen Glover, but it's tough to tell if it will ever materialize. Let's see. Meanwhile, Star Wars Celebration 2023 brought confirmations of 3 new movies. Those include the new Jedi Order movie starring Daisy Ridley's Rey, a Mandoverse crossover event from Dave Filoni. That's the, I think, movie I was referring to of Thrawn, and then a Dawn of the Jedi project from James Mangold. All 3 of those movies are still in development, but progress has been slowed, and any one of them could still be canceled. So basically, all we have in terms of a firm commitment is The Mandalorian and Grogu and Starfighter are the next 2 with release dates in 2026 and 2027. What say you, sir, about all of this?
I wouldn't count on that Starfighter thing. Just the way things have been going. I think Mando and Grogu is the only one we can really count on because we actually have a trailer, and I think they've got enough. It's like I'm pretty sure it's done. Like they've completed photography deep into post production at this point. So that's got to happen unless they decide to pull a Warner Brothers and just write the thing off for taxes.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Again, I'm a broken record at this point. Just make a movie, tell a good story, give me some characters that I like, and then let's go from there. Don't announce it every time someone comes over to the Lucasfilm office and farts on the couch. Like, just focus on the making of stuff rather than trying to get into the business of like, oh, we need to tease this and we need to tease that. It's like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't. Like, just focus on the making of the stuff. Pretty please.
Amen. And, it wouldn't be a complete, thought process and experience here if we hadn't, if I hadn't thought through and asked myself, man, they call Tim, there is something else that we've talked about in the sci-fi realm, and I forget, is it still going on or is it canceled? And I believe we've talked about this.
Doesn't this have its own website at this point? Like, with those websites, like, is this person dead? No, they're not until they die. And they're like, this person is dead.
Indeed.
Like, do we need to have our own website for this?
I dug out from last year, July 31st of 2024 from Variety. Battlestar Galactica reboot no longer in the works at Peacock.
Now, have you double checked to make sure it's still?
I did.
And?
I did. It is no longer in the works. The Sam Esmail reboot that we had high hopes for back in the early days of this podcast.
Who had high hopes? Who's this we? You got a mouse in your pocket over there?
Sir, I have very vivid memories of you.
You've got the squirrel hot tub going over there. They're in the corner. Like,
being very very much in the optimism column for this.
Well, your memory is absolute dog shit then. You need to go get checked.
Oh, yes.
Your wife needs to take away the car keys immediately.
Yeah, I wanted to see how Mr. Esmail's project was going, but I had forgotten that it was shut down as of last year. So
thank God.
No BSG reboot. Although I need to go check. I believe BSG is available on Peacock. I could be wrong. So I need to go back and watch that.
Huh.
All right. And then our final Week in Geek story here, switching gears, comes from our friends at Parade.com. How a 1993 contract could rewrite Star Wars history, and Disney is not happy. This contract in general is, or specifically, I should say, has to do with one Peter Cushing, where apparently there was something in place. The claimant, Tyburn Film Production, says it signed a 1993 letter agreement with Cushing. The contract allegedly barred anyone, including Cushing's own estate, from reproducing his likeness via visual effects without Tyburn's explicit consent. When Rogue One came around, Disney and its production arm got clearance from Cushing's estate in 2016, apparently with a fee, but Tyburn argues that permission was never theirs to give. And so apparently there is a trial that has been in the offing over the last 2 to 3 years. The judges involved said the case can't be dismissed out of hand. There are serious enough questions about who truly owns the CGI resurrection rights to justify a full court hearing. And so now Disney and Lucasfilm have asked the Court of Appeal to put a stop to the lawsuit once and for all. Their lawyer argues the claim is legally sustainable, saying Tyberg can't show they suffered any real loss from the use of Cushing's likeness. The article goes on to point out the irony, how this is all very sci-fi-ish in a way, where the idea that an actor decades gone can be resurrected on screen, and that someone might still hold veto power over that raises real questions about digital ethics, legacy, and agreements that outlive their makers. And of course, fans of Tarkin in the original Star Wars, part of the appeal of Rogue One was seeing him again. But now that resurrection is tangled up in a court fight, whatever happens in this case could ripple far beyond Cushing's estate. It may shape how studios treat digital likenesses of characters for years to come. So, sir, thoughts on this? I found this very interesting. Like, I had no idea that this was even in the works and or existed, and how it isn't just something that could impact Disney, but depending on how it kind of makes its way through the courts, could in some ways really impact how someone's likeness can be used in any sort of digital video content.
Yeah, I mean, especially if it's, we're talking about way before because if I'm remembering right, like full body scans and stuff like that wasn't a thing back in the day. I mean, I think they were.
I don't think so.
You're looking at like motion capture and stuff like that, early to mid 90s, but I don't know that like a full body scan to do a full CGI was even a wisp in the eye of anybody at that point. So if a contract that's signed that long ago is going to hold up as legally binding, where even like the estate of the deceased can't license, man, that's going to be interesting. Because I mean, how many people have signed stuff where they're just like, oh yeah, and that.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, like that person's estate no longer owns. I mean, at what point do we get to a point where some actor has signed away some type of digital rights? And I'm sure this is a thing now where people are starting to look into this of like, okay, what have I signed? Does someone actually own my digital likeness and can put me in a movie?
Right.
It's kind of creepy, as with, and kind of scary as with any new technology coming along. But
yeah,
that's kind of crazy that even the estate would not have a say.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
So all in all, our theme for this week, it's all fun and games until the cancellations and lawsuits happen.
Well.
And that, my friends, is your neat and tidy Week in Geek.
Well, what have you got for another thing as a recommendation to our viewers and listeners this week, sir?
I have for our listeners and viewers, and for you, sir, as well. If you are looking to be unsettled, if you are looking to watch something and feel a little less comfortable in this world, do check out House of Dynamite on Netflix.
I don't know that that's possible at this point.
Well, I didn't either until I watched this movie, and I was just like, "Oh, sweet Moses!"
I have been familiar with this. I've seen like the trailers and kind of like bits and bobs of like teasers and stuff.
Yeah,
this looks fascinating, but yeah, it does seem like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be one of those things. At the end of this, I'm gonna feel just like, what's the point? I'm gonna go dig a hole in my backyard, kind of thing.
Kinda.
Awesome.
I had this on my list on Netflix to watch. I started watching it on the train. I was immediately captivated by it. It is a very interesting movie. It is essentially the same 18 minutes told across 3 different perspectives, and all having to do with and really, without spoiling the story too much, all having to do with a situation where an unidentified, and when I say unidentified, meaning can't understand or unable to understand the source of where it came from, nuclear missile is launched toward the United States. And it really is intended to show, in some ways, what goes into that reaction. But it also goes to show how, for those in charge that have to make snap decisions in a very short period of time, just the weight of those decisions and how fragile I think everything really is, and they
Awesome.
do a very good job of it. The director of it, let me just quickly pull this up. House of Dynamite. I think it's not Patty. Directed by Catherine Bigelow, written by Noah Oppenheim.
Why does that
and
name sound familiar? What
Catherine
else is she-
Bigelow did. I'm trying to think. It was called Zero Dark 30. I think it was
Yep.
something from about 10 years ago.
Okay.
And she did a very good job with that movie. I think she won an Oscar for it. But yeah, she is the director here. I thought it was very well done, but afterwards I'm just like, oh my God. It's like, oh, sweet Moses. So, yeah.
Awesome.
What is your, and another thing, sir, hopefully something a little more, positive and uplifting and life affirming.
I mean, maybe not, but it's a little more goofy, I guess. I'm going to recommend What Happened to the F-19 Jet Fighter on the Found and Explained YouTube channel. The F-19 is essentially a plane that never existed, but yet it is one of the most famous planes that never existed. It was, and I won't spoil too much in here, but just to say that I became very interested in this because back in the day, like the late 80s or early 90s, there was a computer game called F-19 Stealth Fighter. And the F-19 was rumored to be what ended up becoming the F-117 Nighthawk stealth fighter. However, the way that this developed was essentially a model, like a plastic model kit, was made for this mythical plane and then kind of took on a life of its own, where people then just assumed like, oh, wow, something must have leaked and this is actually a thing. And part of it was because so many of the attributes of that plane made sense.
Mm-hmm.
And and part of it is because it came from a company, Tester, who were kind of renowned for having very accurate models of planes and things like that. And the guy who designed the models was just like, well, this makes sense. You would need this and this and this. And he had some ideas about what this might look like and just kind of filled in the rest. And it's very interesting to me because there's other instances of this happening. For instance, Dr. Strangelove, when they had to create the interior of the B-52 for the movie, they couldn't get any assistance from the Air Force. So they only had like 2 or 3 still photos from it was a magazine or something. And they basically extrapolated everything from that. And then consultants from the Air Force came and were like, turned like pale because it wound up being very accurate. Because again, it's not like that, you have to imagine something, but they were able to just go, okay, well, if this, then this, and this, and here are the dimensions that we know that this, and so, okay, well, it makes sense that things are like this. Kind of engineering it on their own, they came to the same conclusion. I guess the same thing happened in some ways on The Hunt for Red October, when they were recreating the command center of the Los Angeles class submarine, and Navy officials were like, we need to have a chat with you. Who were you talking to, sort of thing? And they're like, nobody. Like, really? No, come over here in this room with us, sort of thing. But this whole thing developed out of kind of this model kit and just thin air of people thinking, oh, well, if no one's saying anything about it, it must be true, because of course that's what the government would do if and it's just crazy. Just how the whole thing kind of spun out of thin air, and also this also because at one point, I forget what it's called, they say it in the video, but there was kind of like a rule put into place that when you were designating fighter jets, that you went sequentially, because before that it was kind of here and there. And so you go F-14, F-15, F-16, and then there was a designation for an F-17 that ended up not making it to production, but they used it. Then F-18, which became, all these became real life jet fighters, and then F-19 was skipped, and F-20 was a new fighter that was being proposed. And people were like, oh, there must be something going on with F-19. And really it just came down to that company wanted an even number. And they happen to have a lot of clout with the government, so they're just like, sure, yeah, you can have 20, and we'll skip 19. But because you skip 19, you have these other weird things, and somebody comes out with a model kit. We have ourselves a rumor. So it's kind of fascinating for me, and it was a little bit of
Yeah.
a personal touch for me because I'm like, I used to play that computer game all the time.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that computer game.
Yeah.
And so I saw that on YouTube, and I'm like, well, guess I know what I'm watching for lunch today. And it did not disappoint. It was a very fun watch. So go check that out on the YouTubes.
Excellent.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for this Week in Geek Wednesday. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure you tune in on Friday for Free Range Idiocy Friday, wherein we will talk about what are we going to talk about? I don't know.
The people.
Oh, well, yeah, it is for them. But,
Comfort for the people.
yes, comfort for the people. There we go. And thank you all for listening and watching. You can find all of our episodes on freerangeadc.com. That's where you can find all of our audio episodes. Subscribe to the Podbean app. You can also find us on podcast purveyors such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon, and others. Just search for Free Range ADC. Sure, you'll find us there. Full video episodes are available on our YouTube channel and as well as Spotify. You can find us on the social medias. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and the aforementioned YouTube. All of those are at Free Range ADC. Any thoughts, concerns, or questions or ideas, send those to Tim at freerangeadc.com. And now it's time for us to round this up for this week, well, for this day. I'm going to let the man they call Tim take us home.
To the interwebs, we say, you suspect. We don't know what your reputation is in this town, but after what you tried to pull today, you can bet we'll be looking into you. And to our listeners, we say good day, ladies and gentlemen. And until that day comes, keep your ears to the grindstone.
Make money, money, make money, money, money.
Now get the hell out of here!